I wanted to know for all of you from season 1 until now, how has it been watching this group of women grow both on the show and personally?
Gentlemen, the OGs that's been on the show since
Oh,
19.
I guess we should go ahead.
Oh, I
Watching
see
the
what
women
you're
grow.
saying.
You said watching the women grow?
Yeah, both, on camera and off camera. It's been some time now, and that's what we do as people. We grow. So I would just want to see what's it been like just witnessing.
Wow, that's a great question. I guess just speaking from the Washington's perspective, especially with Bree, to see Bree, I mean, obviously they had to overcome some infidelity and they had to grow kind of in their marriage. Gary had to grow as a husband. And to see Bree grow just as a in her profession, she had a choice to make last season with becoming, I think it was chief of staff or chief of surgeon. And then to see where she kind of ends up this season has been very interesting, and I think it's really dope. She really kind of goes on a, not to give too much away, but she kind of goes on a search to really kind of find, I don't want to say her purpose, but just kind of find, she's looking for something, and I think she finds it. So it's been dope to watch her grow. Hazel is Hazel. But no, I think we've seen it. We've seen with her character as well, and same with even Mitchenor's character. I think all the women have really grown, and their bond. I think together they've grown as a group.
Yeah, I feel like as from a character standpoint, their growth in trusting one another is the biggest thing because they have been homegirls since college, and you assume that's a tight knit bond that can't be broken, but life throws things at you, as you see on screen, and just like we go through in our real lives. So they've been forced to trust one another, and I've seen that growth. And then I know you said off screen. I think it's been cool to see the women grow off screen as well. I mean, heck, Jill is one of our producers now, so she's had to put on a different hat, which has been a cool thing for me to observe.
Yeah.
As opposed to just being one of our acting counterparts. Is cool to look at her as a producer because she's representing us in a way that most producers can't. So
definitely. So yeah. Michelle, let me ask you to start, and I would love to get the male perspective as well. I feel like in 2022, we're finally getting the shows we deserve as Black women, seeing each other, successful and within great friend groups, whatever they go through. But all too often we see, reality TV, women tearing each other down constantly and just negative friend groups, right? So I feel like with this show, it wasn't all peaches and cream. They definitely went through things as a friend group with their friendships, but it never was like nasty. And it never was something that it was a representation of us. So I wanted to know just, how important was it to drive that positive female group with this show, especially because, again, it wasn't all honky-dory. They definitely went through things with friends, fights that, we go through every day with our friends, but it never got nasty. They never tore each other down, which is what we see too often in reality TV. Tell me a little bit about, all of you. I would love your opinion about how important it was to drive just this message of sisterhood.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess a big part of that is the writing. Tracy Oliver created this, for TV and for Black women. And the initial first three lead characters are women who are, more mature in their life at this point in terms of more seasoned and have gone through a lot more. So they're kind of somewhat, I guess, maybe surpass a lot of the catty stage, if you will, that maybe they were when they were in college. So I allude a lot of it to the writing. I think the women in the writer's room are very intentional about how each character navigates one another. And I can say for myself, initially, like the first scene where like Hazel sees Jayla in the second season, it kind of comes off like, ugh, Jayla, but I know I made, a decision as an actor and to represent my character in the sense of like, I'm not going to feed into this, you know, in a negative way, I can just understand that you're still holding on to some trauma, and that's fine, you know. And we'll circle back, and I can still like kind of dodge the shots you throwing, but also still uplift you in the same conversation. So I think just a fusion of that. And on a personal level, I don't have catty female groups, and I'm a member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. So I'm very much a girl's girl, and I have been very fortunate to have really impactful relationships with other women. So it was kind of just organic for me. And again, the writing, I think they just doing a phenomenal job.
Yeah, very intentional, it seems like. Very much so.
Yeah.
So just to wrap, with this new season, I wanted to ask, what do you want audiences to take away that's different, you know, from the past 2 seasons? There's a lot to unpack this season. A lot goes on, and it's kind of different from the past, if in my opinion. What would you want audiences to take away that maybe they didn't get last season? That's for everybody.
I'll go first. No, Mark, you jump in. I can tell you ready. I can see it.
No, I was just gonna say that we all know relationships are complicated, right? But I think accepting that that's okay is a good thing, because you only grow from it. And I'm excited. I mean, you know, my boy RonReaco, I like that you get to see the growth of friendships between guys as well, in addition to you know, the women's relationships, because that's real life. It's like, I know we have couple friends when sometimes you might like the wife or the husband and not the other. So it's nice when you can develop relationships with both.
Yeah, I think for me it's you know, life kind of comes at you, and you know, we're all married, and so it's one of them things where I think back to when we got married, or when I got married, and the stuff they don't tell you, and I realize they don't tell you that stuff, because if they told you, probably wouldn't get married. But as life comes at you, I think the one thing this show, this season in particular, really shows you is that you got to make the adjustments. And I think all of the characters and the writers do a great job of showing the characters have to make these adjustments, leaning on one another, and then forging new relationships. You know, you really see Gary and David's character really form a beautiful bond, and it's not something that you see often on television between Black men. And so I was very honored this season as they kind of took it there, and we went there as actors. David or Mark specifically, as David, went there as an actor, and so I think that's one of the biggest, you know, differences from the first 2 seasons, is that life got real for everybody, and everybody had to adjust.
And we got to see some brotherhood, some bromance.
RonReaco directed an episode, which he didn't do in the first 2 seasons either. So that's new.
That is a little new. That's a little new.
Come on now.
I love that. Michelle, how about you? Anything audience this season?
I feel like the brothers here touched on so much. I guess I'll just say on more like on the fun side or the lighter side, it's, you know, kind of, we all have these insecurities in our workplace, or maybe insecurities with our spouse, and maybe someone else they're dealing with or whatever. And just like learn to just relax and just like trust things will work out the way they need to, and trusting your gift, trusting your path. I think that's like just a lighter, fun aspect of it. At least with Jayla, she's gonna be in a whirlwind of different things, and deals with some insecurity that's like kind of fun to laugh at, but it's a real thing for her. So yeah, like checking your insecurity, like yeah,
and letting things be how they're gonna be.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, thank you guys so much. I'm so excited for everyone to see this season. From what I've seen, it's
what
good.
have you seen? Everybody didn't seen it. What you seen?
No.
It's good.
No,
they only let us see the first couple, but it was good. Okay. I'm like, I need more. Can they give us 3 more episodes?
I know.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. And congratulations on a great season to come.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sidney.
All right. Take care.